So hey guys, and welcome back to another Axel 72 video, and in today's video I'm back doing another interview. Today I'm joined by English middleweight champion in Tyler Denny. Tyler Denny, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, thanks for coming on. I appreciate this very much. And I'll just get straight into the questions, yeah?
Yeah. Fire away. Fire away.
So we'll start off with the question that I always ask for everybody that comes on, and that is, who inspired you to get into boxing?
Um, it wasn't so much a boxer. It was just my friend. Really, he kept asking me to come down to the boxing club with him, and I took a while, but in the end, I got into it and never looked back after that.
Great. Okay. So obviously you did get into boxing, and then what was it like on doing your first amateur fight? Because I believe you had 35 amateur fights. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So what was it like in your first one, if you remember?
I just enjoyed it. To be fair, I won my first one. Then I lost three after that, but then I
Right.
ended up winning like 10 in a row after that. Do you
Oh
know what I
right.
mean? So
Okay.
it's a bit like topsy turvy at the
Yeah. Yeah.
beginning. You've got to stick with it, but it was just fun, man. I'm on the middleweight now, but I used to fight at light heavyweight as an amateur.
Right.
I used to train like twice a week and
Mhm.
then just go and fight, enjoy it. That's what it's about, really. I just wanted to go in there and have a scrap.
Yeah. Yeah. So why did you go down to middleweight? Was it just easier to make that weight, or?
I just never used to diet. Like I said, I used to train twice a week. Now I
Mhm.
train twice a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I train harder and diet properly, and that's my weight, middleweight.
Fair
But
enough.
like when I'm walking around, I walk around like over like heavyweight. So when I start putting it in and a bit of dedication, I'll come
Yeah.
down to
Yeah.
middle.
Fair enough. So obviously you had them 35 amateur fights, which, to be fair, for amateur, I've seen people have a lot more. So why did you decide to turn pro when you did?
I was just sparring Andrew Robinson before, and his promoter come into the gym, and he said, "Oh, he wanted me to turn pro over him." So I just fed up with like the amateurs. You get a trophy,
Mm.
and sometimes you got to go out for the same trophies at home and stuff. So I thought I might as well make some money out of it.
Yeah, yeah,
I never had really any strong ambitions or whatever, but like, the more I dedicated, the more I wanted to do better. And you start creeping up on levels of people who you put up there at one point.
hmm
The next thing you know, you're getting the better of them, inspiring you, and you start believing in yourself then.
fair enough. So obviously you did go pro when you did, and you had your first fight, which you did win via points versus Watt. What was it like in your first pro fight?
It was good, man. I sold a lot of tickets, the atmosphere, just like the change from amateur to pro, and you're walking out to you got your music on and whatever. I just remember though, it was only four rounds, and I was fit as a fiddle, but in the fourth one, I was knackered in that first fight. Yeah, so that was an experience just to learn to get through the rounds and stuff as well.
Yeah, I've seen the support of what some fighters get, even on their debuts. Like the British fans, they are mental.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, like I said, amateurs like sometimes in amateur, you don't even know you're fighting this hard. Do you want to fight tomorrow? And you say,
Yeah,
okay, so you're not going to bring many people in this far, but like you, especially in my own fighter and a pro show, you got to sell tickets, so
mm,
everyone's got advance
yeah,
notice in advance and stuff, and the atmosphere is just it's good. It's a good vibe, man.
yeah, yeah. So obviously you had a few winning fights and a couple draws. But
Yeah.
obviously, unfortunately, you have suffered a couple of defeats. What is it like bouncing back after defeat?
Um, it's just one of them.
Mm,
It's like in everything, if you compare, I think in boxing, people put a lot much on a loss than it needs to be.
mm,
If you're in football and you take a loss, no, but it's not
yeah,
such a big deal. You fight, you play again the next week. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So I think you start to get to heart and just move on. I lost against Cartwright, that got stopped on cuts. There you go. I was losing the fight, but I was still in it.
mm,
And then the Udofia one, it's a fight. It's a split decision. It's a fight I thought I won. So
yeah.
um, there's plenty of positives to take from even the losses. You just move on, and it's made it worthwhile now.
Of course, yeah, of course. So obviously you've had two recent fights against River Wilson Bent, the person who we have had also on this channel. Obviously for you, the second fight did go well for you, and in your fourth time round, you ended up getting the British middleweight champion. How tough was them two fights?
Um, I thought the second fight, even though I got the win, was a lot tougher than the first fight.
Mm.
I was pretty pissed off, to be honest, that I never got the win in the first fight.
Yeah.
Especially the way it was with the cut and all that stuff. But fair play to him, man. I never thought he had that grit in him. So respect to River. He showed a lot in that second fight, which I don't think he showed in that first fight. I think he was feeling a bit sorry for himself. I think maybe a bit more shocked. I think he underestimated me, which he said before in that first fight. And, you know, credit to him, man. It was a good fight. And I think both our profiles, even though he's lost, his profile's gone up as well, and so has mine. So,
of course, yeah.
You know, wish him all the best in the future.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously, winning that fight, you became British middleweight champion. What did it feel like when you...
English.
Is it English? Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
My apologies. I've been saying it wrong. So obviously, English middleweight champion. So what was it like achieving that? When you hear the name get shouted out and it's like your name, they're getting announced, like you won it. What was that feeling like?
Oh, it's probably the best feeling in my life, to be honest. You know what I mean? Especially because, like, I thought I won the fight, but after the first fight, you're a bit unsure on what to believe, and then the first judge gave it to River. So, you know, the suspense was there, and then when they read my name, I don't know if you've seen it, but I was just jumping up in the air like a little kid and stuff.
Yeah.
I was buzzing for it, but I was buzzing for a while, to be fair, but now that, like, the past is the past now, I need to just move on, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously you're saying you're moving on, and you're now working with Sky. What is it like working with Sky and getting opponents and stuff like that?
To be fair, there's nothing contractual with Sky or anything. The last one was on Sky.
Oh, right.
There's talk of maybe the next one will be on Sky, but like, no, I'm not signed up with them. So,
oh, okay.
Until it's everything signed, then I'm not guaranteed to be on Sky again. But there's talks now that my next one will be on Sky.
Fair enough.
But ideally, though, if I had my own way, I'd fight for the British next. Which is Denzel Bentley. But it's up to him what he wants to do. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a mandatory, so like I've put my name forward to fight for him, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, that would be a tough, but a fight that would be definitely everybody would want to see, because that would be a really good fight, I can imagine.
Yeah, I think so, and I rate him as always. He's a top fighter, but I rate myself, so it's a fight that I want. Not so much because I want to fight Bentley. I couldn't care about Bentley. I just want the British.
Yeah, of course.
Whoever I could fight for, I'd fight for it.
Yeah. So is that kind of what you're seeing as your possible next opponent, or is there any talks of some other people?
That's what I'd like, whether it happens or not. I think my team's approached their team to try and make that happen, but you might have other plans. Do you know what I mean? It's like a few people have been calling me out for the English title, like, and I'd fight them. But if I can get something that's better for me, I'm gonna do what's best for me.
Yeah.
So, and he's probably gonna be in the same situation. Do you know what I mean? So, in an ideal world for me, I'd fight him next for the British. But that's an ideal world, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. So obviously we're talking about when you're next getting back in the ring. How many times do you think this year you'll be back in the ring? Is it once or is it possibly twice?
It depends what my next one is. Hopefully twice. I'd like to fight September or maybe October and then December.
Oh, okay.
If I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like to be busy. I like to wait 7 months. I only fought once this year.
Of course.
Because my last one before that was November. Then we was meant to fight March. You just got to keep getting delayed. Me and River, so we never fought till the end of June. So I feel like I've got a bit of catching up to do. But it's out of my hands. I'd fight every month if I could. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The more fight, there's better activity, and it's getting paid as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Ideally twice, but it might realistically be once more.
Yeah, fair enough. So obviously I believe 31 now?
Yeah, 31.
31. Yeah. So you're kind of going into, if not in the kind of prime of your career, where would you see yourself in 5 years?
if I'm still boxing, I'm probably either doing extremely well or I'm doing something wrong. So,
Right.
I don't know. If I'd imagine I would have packed it up in 5 years' time at
Yeah.
36.
Okay.
But you know, hopefully I can pack it up and say I've been like British champion. That's my goal really. Next, like, English champion there. So I don't look too far ahead, but
Yeah.
my goal is definitely to become British champion.
Fair. It
That's
seems
the
like
next. That's the next step we get along the line into.
yeah. It seems like a definitely achievable goal for where you are at the moment, especially.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it with this kind of final question, just out of my curiosity. What would you say is your best attribute?
Probably that I'm a southpaw. I can be quite slick and stuff at sometimes, and I think I'm a lot harder to hit than people
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
I'd say that's my best attribute really. My last fight, I kind of scrapped that and put it in the bin. I just wanted to come full force at him because you know, Rivers a tall guy and is a good boxer. So I had to just put. I don't want to sit on the outside, but I think I'm quite slick southpaw when I choose to be anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
from what I saw in that last fight versus River, what you did a bit differently was you were a lot more attacking and you closed the gap well.
Yeah. I think I needed to because, like I said, it's not. If I had a choice of fighting style, I'd probably normally be on the back foot and pop a move and stuff. But it's not going to work against someone who's got such advantages in length and stuff over me. So,
of course, yeah.
I just wanted to go in there and put it on him from the first second and make it into a bit of a scrap.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good game plan, and obviously it worked out for you.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of all the questions I've got. I very much appreciate you doing this interview, lad.
No, I appreciate it as well. Thank you.
And is there anything you'd like to shout out while you got a little bit of a platform?
I was been to big up my coaches and the managing company, Black Country Boxing, BCB, because we're a little bit under the radar, but we've got some top fighters, man. Leonard Scott lost against F1 the other day. We've got Zach Parker, world number 1. Kirsty Barrington's got like European title. We've got some great fighters, man. James Beach was on the thing. Even that, these are just in the gym. You got Liam Davis. I've got a Team Davis top on actually right now. Do you know what I mean? He'd be fighting for the European next. He beat Mark Leach for the British.
Yeah, I saw that fight. That was a good fight.
That's what it is. We've got a really good gym, man. Some great fighters out there. Nathan Eder, you know, he sells stupid amount of tickets and stuff, and he's a good fighter as well. So, you know, there's a lot of positives. I just don't feel like we get the recognition sometimes.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, thanks for watching the video. If you did indeed like the video, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.